So that covers it for our first tool of ongoing formation. Let's quickly move on now to our second tool, which is planning and preparation. And so, without hesitation, we give you the next poll question and invite you to respond to this statement. I did my planning and preparation thoroughly, thoughtfully, and prayerfully, and with an eye toward achieving specific goals and objectives. So, you see your selections once again there, and I invite you to make your selection right now and to submit that. And in just a few moments, Nick will share those results with us. And as we wait for all of the precincts to report in, just a few words about planning and preparation. None of us would ever think of inviting a number of people over for a dinner party without planning and preparing. And we have to plan the menu, go shopping for the food and supplies. We make sure that we have adequate seating and place settings. And we might order some flowers. You get the idea. So in the same way, we should think that each class that we're teaching is kind of like a small banquet. In other words, we're inviting others to taste and see how good the Lord is. And our planning and preparation ensure that nothing is going to take away from the focus of that evening, which is the bread of life, Jesus Christ. All right, Nick has given me the high sign, telling me that our results are in. Let's see what people are feeling about their planning and preparation. Nick?
All right, Joe, we have a clear leader this time. Answer B, steady as she goes, Steve and Stella. And on the good news, we still have no one with a back to square one, Bill or Bonnie, so everyone's feeling at least okay about how they're doing with their planning and preparation.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Yeah, I'm kind of glad we're not getting anyone back to square one. That happens, though. There are sometimes we just feel like we don't come up good on a particular category. But this one is telling me that a lot of us feel generally good about our planning and prep, but wish we could be a little bit better. We may not feel quite like a pro, but we're getting there, and we're working on it. So thank you for your response and for thinking about your own experience. For myself, I'm going to go ahead and give myself pretty much what everyone else did, a B. Steady as she goes, Steve, is what I'd say about my own experience. I would have to say that personally, I always feel more confident, more creative, and more relaxed when I have a good plan in place. And I think I did a pretty good job of planning this year, but I didn't give myself an A because there were a couple of occasions. In particular, I'm thinking of one just a few weeks ago when we had the living stations of the cross during Lent. And I was thinking that it would take the whole period, but the fact is we still had a half hour after the living stations. And so I went back to my classroom and I had to wing it for 30 minutes. And I don't like winging it. It turned out okay, but I'm not comfortable doing that. So I should have been better prepared. And that happened a couple of times this year. I just didn't look closely enough at the schedule. So let's take a closer look at some strategies for planning and preparation. Well, just a few moments ago, I compared planning and preparation to hosting a dinner party, and I think another comparison would be going on vacation, which many of us may be thinking about right now. And I think we all know that a vacation can be ruined by poor planning. Well, the same thing is true of our lessons. It's definitely true that without the proper planning, we can end up in what I call catechetical Timbuktu. And I've been there, and believe me, you do not want to end up in catechetical Timbuktu. So let's take a look at some strategies for our planning and preparation. The first thing that I'd like to recommend is to try to plan as soon as possible after teaching your previous lesson. This really gives you an opportunity to build upon the lesson that's still fresh in your mind. And it also helps you to begin building some momentum leading up to the following week. What you'll find is that as the days go by, you'll be surprised at how many ideas keep popping into your head about how you can tweak that lesson and how to improve it because you're thinking about it. It's kind of on the back burner the entire week. The second thing I'd like to recommend try sharing your plan with someone else, maybe another catechist, maybe it's with a spouse or a friend or an older child at home, or maybe with your DRE. But the point here is try to bounce it off of someone and see how it sounds coming out of your mouth. It also provides you with some much-needed feedback and another fresh perspective. The third thing I'd like to recommend is to talk to your fellow catechists, especially any catechist who might be teaching that same lesson or the same chapter. Compare notes with them, share some ideas, and beg, borrow, and steal activities. We don't steal this catechist, but we borrow. Anything that's going to help make your lesson more effective. I would have to say some of the best ideas that I use in my class have come from other catechists that I've listened to and have learned from. So I am always on the lookout for new approaches about how to do things and to improve my planning and preparation.